been so long since I have filmed the video, mainly because there's a baby now. And so it's been a very busy month and a half, which is the last time that I made a video, and the last video that I made was about his placement day. And so I figured today I woke up and I put some makeup on and the house is clean and I've got some laundry to fold. So I figured I would do another video today before the things that happened start fleeting from my memory. So the video that I want to film today, what I want to talk about was the entire journey of our adoption and kind of the whole process of George and coming home with George and meeting George. So I guess it's this will be just the story of our adoption. So I guess the story starts with the day that we were put on the registry with the National Down Syndrome Adoption Network. Exactly 1 week to the day that we joined the registry, we got an email that said there is a situation, is what they call them, a situation of a little baby boy who was born with Down syndrome. Would you and your family like to be considered for the birth family, to take a look at your profile for a minute? So when the email came about the baby boy, we were kind of like, our instinct, our initial instinct, both of us, was to say no, just because we couldn't handle being told that we couldn't be his parents, that we weren't being picked. We could not handle the thought of not being matched with him. And so our initial reaction was, I don't think we should do this, but let's take a day to think about it. And so I guess the lesson that we learned in that first day was, in adoption, at least in this situation, it is so not about us picking the baby. It is about the birth family picking us. And so the question that we were really answering was, do you want the birth family to look at your profile and just consider you? And so we talked about it, and my dad said, hey Taylor, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. And so I said, you know what, you're right. And Kyle said the same thing. And so after 24 hours after we got the email, we said, yes, we would like to be considered for the birth family to look at our profile. So it was I believe it was a Thursday that we said, yes, we would like to be considered, send our profile to the family. And so we went over to my mom's. It was Oscar Sunday. And we were all watching the Oscars, and it was fun because we were there with my mom and my dad and my brother and my brother's girlfriend, and we were all sitting on the couch, and the phone rang, and it was Stephanie Thompson. And when Stephanie calls you and you're on the registry with the National Down Syndrome Adoption Network, your heart stops. So we freaked out, and I answered the phone, and she said, congratulations, Mama, you've been matched with a little boy in California. So of course we all scream, we all cry. It was crazy and emotional, and it was so fun to have my family there for it. And so we started calling people, because the next thing that she said was, she was like, but don't buy plane tickets yet. You're not leaving yet. We got a couple things to do first. So we celebrated that Sunday night, and then Monday we just got up and we went to that day we started talking to the agency, and we just started getting the logistics of the day in order, of the match, of figuring out what the match was going to look like. So that Monday things were kind of, we started looking at hotels, and we started getting ideas for rental cars, and Sarah with Special Angels Adoption, who was the agency that was handling it, she and I talked for I think an hour and a half on the phone that day, and she said, birth family has to do this before you guys can travel. And I don't, to be very honest, don't know what that thing was. So I couldn't tell you what she was talking about, but she said, okay. We said, all right, just let us know. Then on Tuesday, she says, okay, here's how it's going to go. You guys will fly in on Thursday. You'll meet with birth family Thursday night, and then placement will happen on Friday. So Tuesday night, we bought our plane tickets to go to California. So now we're on Wednesday. It's Wednesday now, and we're traveling on Thursday. So that Wednesday, we just kind of got our house ready, got stuff in order, started packing. That's when I started letting my employers know, hey, I'm going to California indefinitely. So that all started happening, and then we traveled on Thursday, and that day I did film because it was a horrific travel day. It was the ultimate worst. And so we traveled Thursday morning. We left Michigan. Our flight left at 7 or something, like something super early. And we didn't get to California till 6 o'clock. And we did that, and it was on Thursday. So we landed in California, went right to Birth Family's house, which I've talked a little bit about. And we got to go meet Birth Family, meet him, and this was on Thursday, late Thursday night. And it was great. It was tough, you know, it was emotional and sad, but it was really nice to meet them. So Friday was placement day. And that was in the afternoon. So the day of placement day, gotcha day, we just kind of hung out in our hotel room all day on kind of pins and needles. So Friday afternoon, what we ended up doing was Kyle and I signed our papers in the rental car right outside the FedEx. So what we were able to do was sign our papers and then send them overnight them right to the agency, which we'll talk about in a minute because they weren't overnighted. And then we went right to the social worker's office where Birth Family was with him. And that's where the placement happened. I don't want to talk about that too much because it is just something that there aren't quite words, so I don't want to try to make them up because the feeling on our end was very conflicting and very hard. And so I don't want to talk too much about the actual moment of the placement, but I'll say it was great. It was hard, but love for him was what was necessary, and that's what was in every inch of every room we were in. So that was nice. And then, oh, you want to be upright. So then that night, all we really did was, that night was crazy. We just were FaceTiming with friends and family and taking pictures with him. We couldn't post any pictures of him, so we were just kind of sharing with the universe, like, we have our baby. He's here, he's with us, and he's perfect, and he's healthy, and he's so cute. And so we did that on Friday. That was the end of placement day. Was just sharing with the world that our little buggy boo was here and that he was healthy. Huh. Aren't ya? You're cute. So yeah, that was Friday. So then came the hardest part of our trip, which was waiting for ICPC clearance to let us go home, which is something we've gotten asked about a lot, is why did we have to stay in California? And the answer to that is that we have to be given clearance by all of the states involved to cross state lines with him, because, to answer another question, his adoption is not yet finalized. So legally, he is placed with us, we are his guardians, he has not yet been legally adopted into our family. So to cross state lines, we needed to get specific clearances from the states. The states involved were California and Michigan, obviously, and then also Ohio, because that's where the agency and the National Down Syndrome Adoption Network is, and so, so it was a 3-state adoption. So what was supposed to happen was we were supposed to overnight all of our papers so that they got there on Saturday, so that filing could happen on Monday. But it didn't happen. For some reason, FedEx didn't get our papers to the agency until Monday night. So filing to be cleared didn't even happen until Tuesday. So Tuesday was by far the hardest day. So he was placed in our family on Friday. Tuesday was a hard day. So Tuesday was the day that we kind of got word that said you might be here. So Tuesday, they filed for clearance. Wednesday, California cleared us and submitted our paperwork to Ohio. Thursday, Ohio cleared us and sent us paperwork and sent the paperwork to Michigan. Michigan received the paperwork on Thursday but said, we don't take digital copies, it has to be overnighted, the physical hard copies. So that was on Thursday, and that's when it was basically, we found out, it was like, hey, you're probably going to be here for the next weekend because obviously all of the offices in the States shut down. So on Thursday, we were kind of told, hey, it looks like you might be here for the whole weekend. So while we were waiting for the clearance, we really tried to do our best to take advantage of the time we were there. So we saw, we saw friends and family while we were there. Because I was stuck there that second weekend, I was able to go to the Dear Mom conference and meet a lot of like my heroes in the Down syndrome world and in the adoption world and make friends with them. And then on that Sunday, we went and we went to the beach with a bunch of them and got to just meet a lot of families. And we were just really bummed, but we were trying to do our best to take advantage of it. And just kept hoping that Monday they'd let us go home. And so Monday morning, we did not hear anything, but we had plans to go see Birth Mom on Monday. So, we said, okay, well, at least we're going to stay busy today. And we went on our way and we went and we hung out with Birth Mom. And we were actually with Birth Mom when we got the call on Monday that said, okay, you are free to fly home. Here's what you have to do. And that night, so we had lunch with her, we hung out with her, and then we got home. So we got up to the hotel, and in half an hour, we booked a flight, booked a red-eye overnight, packed up our room, and got ready to travel with a 5-week-old. At the end, flew home. That flying home with him was actually a wonderful experience. He did great on the flights. He slept the whole time because he was little. He was really, really small. Traveling with him was not as hard as I expected it to be, so it was successful. And we got home on Tuesday, March 12th. So we had him for 11 days at that point, and we had been in California for 12. So that's kind of that. That was kind of our story to George. So from the time that we got word that he was ours to the time that he was placed in our arms legally as our son, it was 5 days. We had 4 days notice of travel, and so it moved really fast. We were technically only awaiting family for a week on the registry, and it was bonkers. It was the most wild thing. So that's kind of our story for right now. It's not done yet because his adoption is not legalized, so there's more paperwork and stuff like that we have to fill out, but yeah, overall, it was a crazy, crazy time of life. And now looking back at it, that's kind of why I didn't make a video about it, was because I really had to process it and reflect and come to terms with a lot of it, because a lot of the fears that we had came true, that we were stuck out there for a long time, and it was really hard. Waiting for ICPC clearance, waiting for the clearance to fly home, it brought the three of us really close together. So it was really good bonding time for me and Kyle and George, because we were kind of just holed up in a hotel room for 11 days. We did spend some days with family, which we were so grateful for, but we said, if we're going to be stuck out here, let's make this like family bonding time. So we are grateful for that time. I will never wish to relive those days. That was really emotionally hard. But we lived, we survived, and we came home. So the hardest part for sure was waiting for the ICPC clearance. But I mean, there are so many emotions that go through a placement of a baby, like an adoption like that, that is so hard, because there was a lot of joy and a lot of heartbreak, and it was just every single emotion. My goodness. Just about every single emotion at 3,000%. And it was overwhelming, and it was so fast that we didn't have time to process any feelings or emotions until until now, when we're kind of home and we're settled and we have a good routine with him, and we're just so in love with him. It's just not even real. It's crazy. So, thank you for watching this. I'm actually going to fold the laundry now, because I didn't really fold any of it because he wanted to be held, so. That's all I got for today. I'm sure I'll make another video soon, and I'll see you later. Bye. Say bye. No.